90.3 FM. Welcome to Business Around Town. It's 27 minutes before 10 o'clock. I know it's a Thursday, and every Thursday we talk about business growth, business strategies, and all of that. We have John Paul Iwoha in the building, and we're going to have a great conversation. You know, last week we discussed business ideas, how to activate your business ideas, and we answered questions and all of that. So we're going to continue today. We have something special for you. But before we go into business growth and strategies and ideas, I want us to talk about export seminar that is coming up on the 4th of November. It's very close and some questions are yet to be answered. So I have with me Godwin Oyefesa. He's going to talk to us about the export and answer a few questions. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Mary.
Yeah, good
morning. It's always a pleasure being here.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Good to have you. Now, I have questions upon questions for you. Okay. You know, but after we'll talk every time, people usually send me questions, and most of them I can't answer because I'm not the expert. So it's good to have you here answering the question.
Yes. So let's go.
Okay, now good. You're ever ready. So let's go. Okay, now this question says, I'm in Europe. Please, how can I import stuff from Nigeria into Europe? I don't have anyone in Lagos, only at Warri.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, basically, when you don't need to have anybody in Nigeria before you export from Nigeria, all we need to do is across to you. Now, to get a product.
Okay, well, I think we're having some network disconnection. Hello? Okay, so sorry. I think we're having some network problems here. I'll connect with him again, and then we'll answer the questions. But what I would like you to do is just to send your name and phone number to this number that I'm going to call for you right now. If you're interested in coming for the export seminar, and if you have more questions, send a WhatsApp or a text message. It's very important that you do that. Then you get a reply. If you call, they might not get an answer immediately. So it's better you just send a WhatsApp message or a call to this number 080-2249-3182 080-2249-3182. That's the number to call. I'm still trying to connect with Mr. Godwin, but if it delays, I'll answer the few questions and then we'll move on. But later on, if I can connect with him, we'll get talking. So that's the number I've given it, 080-2249-3182. Export seminar is coming up on the 4th of November. That's next week Saturday. Is export masterclass. The fee is 50,000 naira. That's the money you have to pay, and then we'll start by 9 a.m. on Saturday. So it's going to be a master class discussion, not like the basic we've had before. So it's taking place at the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, number 42, Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road. For the question that I asked concerning someone in Europe that wants to get into export and you don't have anybody in Lagos, that's not a problem. I think I will answer you. I will find a way for you to join the master class so that at the end of the day, how to source the product, even in your absence, can be arranged so that you can get into the export business. Now, the second question I have here, I'll quickly answer this one. You said, please, Mary, can I pay instrumental payment? I want to come for the seminar. Okay, instrumental. Today is what? Today is 26. So if you're paying instrumental payment, we can give you two from now to on the 30th, because on the 30th, the last day of payment. After 30th, we will not collect money again. So 30th, that's the last day of payment. So if you want to pay instrumentally, you have today 26 and you have 30th to redeem. So if you pay half, let's say on the end of the month, you pay the balance. But it's better you just pay everything at once. So that being said, hope to see you at the seminar. So when you send your name and phone number, I will send you the details. So that's the account number, the venue, the time, everything you need to know. I will send it to you, and hopefully we'll see you at the seminar on Saturday. That's on the 4th of November. Okay, so I've not been able to connect with Mr. Godwin. Network is acting up, but we have John Paul Iwoha right here. So we'll move on now to discuss our topic for today. You know, it's Business Strategy Thursday. We have the business activator in the building, John Paul Iwoha. And right here is going to be talking to us today. And hopefully maybe we'll have time for your questions, because I have lots of questions. But let me give you a little introduction about John Paul Iwoha. John Paul Iwoha is a business activator who's worked with entrepreneurs to fix difficult problems at the startup and growth stages of business. And for more than a decade, John Paul has helped dozens of entrepreneurs start new businesses, raise funds, grow sales, optimize business models, and solve human capital and growth problems. His clients are active in industry that range from agribusiness and tech to retail, healthcare, manufacturing, energy, financial services, and other sector. John Paul is an alumnus of PwC and qualified as a chartered certified accountant with ACCA. He is a frequent speaker and trainer and a judge who has worked with business networks, entrepreneurial focused organization. He's been featured on CNN, TRTW, the Huffington Post, Fidelity Bank, SME Forum, and the African Diaspora News Channel. And in 2018, he was recognized by LinkedIn as a top voice on startups and entrepreneurship. Now, it's important that I tell you who you'll be listening to, so you know what you're getting. He's a business activator. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Oh, good. Okay. I think your mic is on now. Good to have you here again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Good morning.
Yes, always a pleasure. Now, last week, we answered a lot of questions on business growth and strategy. But today, we're going to be looking at this interesting topic, still activating your business idea, but we'll look at the issue of the excuses that people give. I don't have time to start a business. I don't have time, or I'm not a business person. I don't think I'm caught up for that kind of thing. So I would like us to talk on that.
Okay, I'm not a business person is actually a different kind of excuse from I don't have time. The I don't have time problem is a situation where people have business ideas that excites them. By the end of the day, they say the reason they've not started that business is that they don't have time. This is quite typical for people who are fully engaged in, say, a job. They are on full-time employment, or they have another business that is taking up their time. So they have this business idea in their head that is taking up space in their head. It excites them, but they cannot start it because they don't have time. And the reason why time is an important consideration is that in all my years of dealing with entrepreneurs, time is not one of those things that a startup entrepreneur, a first-time entrepreneur will tell you is an issue, right? But by the time you get into business, it then starts to become obvious that time is a limited resource. Out of all the resources we look for, money, all of it, time is the most limited because it's the only resource you cannot expand. You only have 24 hours a day and that is it. You cannot get more. You can reduce it if you want, but you cannot get more. So it's a very limited resource, and almost every business on earth will require your time at some point, usually in the beginning. Maybe as you start to grow the business, if you're doing the proper things, you can reduce the amount of time you spend, but most businesses will require your time. And the interesting thing is that there are types of businesses that are more time intensive than other kinds of businesses. So what I would advise is, if you are one of those people who, for example, in 2024, you are looking for a side business. We know that things are hard. There's inflation. I was thinking about this the other day. The only thing in Nigeria that is not undergoing inflation like every other thing, the fuel price is rising. The cost of the dollar is rising. Everything is rising except wages and salaries. Wages and salaries are not rising as much as every other thing in the economy. Yeah. So what that then means is that for you to be able to pay your bills, you have to augment your income somehow. For some people, it's getting a better job. And even in this climate now, where people are even trying to keep the jobs that they have, you are starting to see that one option that is coming up for many people is starting a side business, having a business on the side that will generate additional income to support what you're currently earning from your full-time job. There are even people who have businesses and they're looking for other businesses that they can start, or introducing other products that would show up the revenue base of their company. So that essentially is what it is. There is a demand for people to start businesses on the side. And if you're one of those people, it's very likely that one of the complaints you have is, I have a full-time job. I even have children I'm taking care of. How will I go and add, a business to that? I don't have time. So my objective today is to dismantle that myth. Because like I said...
I'm ready.
Because like I said, when people tell you the reasons why they have not yet started their dream business, many of these reasons can be very convincing on the surface because they are reasonable. They are reasonable, excuses. But then at the end of the day, if your excuse can survive the things I'm going to say today, then I'll give it to you. Your excuses, you've actually earned that excuse, right? But if after today, if after today what I say clearly I've given you an answer, then it's upon you to make sure that you explore the opportunities that you're looking at, right? So to avoid regrets, I think this is the last thing I'm going to say before I delve into it. The biggest problem with not starting a business, from what I have a lot of older people that have either been my clients or students, right? These are people who are preparing for retirement. And one of the biggest mistakes they will tell you is that they regret not starting the business earlier. Because now you're faced with retirement and now you're thinking, how am I going to augment? How am I going to survive? So I think the biggest thing is that if you don't act on that business now, you may likely regret it later. Because the thing about good business ideas is that they will never stop tormenting you until you do something about it. They will always be in your head. They will keep tormenting you.
Yeah.
And as long as that thing is in your head, it will likely make you regret later in life. So today I'm going to share 6 specific ways you can handle the time problem. If your excuse is, I don't have time for a business, I have this business idea, I'm very fascinated about it, I think I know I'll do well with it, but my problem right now is I don't have time. Today's conversation is for those kinds of people. The first way you can solve the time problem for some kinds of people is focus. For some people, the problem is not that they don't have time. The problem is that they are chasing too many things. They have a hand in real estate. They have a hand in the one commission-based business. They are running a digital store.
And because they are looking for multiple sources of income.
Good. So
yes.
That principle of thinking that by chasing 10 rabbits, at the end of the day, you have 10 rabbits is a myth and it's a lie. If you chase 10 rabbits, at the end of the day, I can guarantee you are likely going to end up with 0 rabbits. Because when your attention is turned across too many things, what happens is that you end up not even achieving one thing. That's the problem. And so that's one principle. The second principle is that 80% of your results will come from 20% of the things that you do. Not everything you are doing is equal. All those things you are doing are not equal. Some of them are nuisance activities. Some of them are tactical. Some of them are strategic. People have to understand the difference between these things. That something is taking your time doesn't mean that it's equal to another thing. Some activities are strategic. You do them today and they'll keep paying off for years and years to come. Yeah. Those are strategic activities, strategic decisions. There are some decisions you make today. In 20 years' time, you look back and say, this thing I'm enjoying today came from that one decision I made 20 years ago. There are tactical activities. They'll give you an advantage today, but you have to keep on doing them to maintain that advantage. And then the third one is the nuisance stuff. It makes you feel busy. You're sweating, you look like you're doing something, but it's not yielding any results. When you really look at it, you're asking yourself, why am I involved in this thing? I'm not getting anything from it. So what many of the most interesting people do is that they reserve their time for strategic activities. Things that they can do now that will keep yielding results later and later and later. So what I mean by focus is even in the name of the word focus, there's an acronym. Follow one course until success. Follow one course of action until success. If you are chasing 10 different things right now, in the hopes that all those things are going to yield you results, yes. If you really think about it, maybe there's just 2 or 3 of those things that if you really focus on, you will get much more results than all those 10 things combined. So that's an important point. If, for example, you say you have a job that is taking up your full-time employment, they're taking up your full-time engagement, how much time really are you giving to that job and how much space can you find? We find that in our lives, there are periods of space that we have that we fill up with nuisance activities, maybe like checking social media or just having idle chatter, things that don't really add value. So you really have to look out for those things. So the first one is, if you can reduce the amount of distraction you have and make some things a priority, you will end up finding out that you can actually create time. That one is a fact. And one funny thing is that many people, particularly in Lagos, have time management issues. Even everything you hear from African time, all those things are time management issues. Waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night only to realize that you've not achieved anything today. That's poor time management. All of us have time management issues. Some people are a bit better than others, but time is one of the most poorly managed resources that we have, particularly in this part of the world. So the first one is focus. The second is partnership. And this ties into what we've been discussing in this series of activating your business idea. Some people who want to start a business have the idea, they have the money, but they don't have the time. There are some people that have the time, but they don't have the idea to that extent, and they don't really have money, but they have time. So what I see there is a potential for partnership. And I've seen a couple of iterations of these things, right? I have one client who has a good job in the oil industry. In fact, he's a senior person in the company he works for, right? And he's always had this idea to start something in retail. You know, like the way supermarket chains are now expanding. In fact, what is going on now in Lagos, I know I mentioned it before, is that destination retail is giving way to neighborhood retail in Lagos. About 5-10 years ago, we thought it was going to be the ShopRites of the world and all of them that will define the face of formal retail in Lagos. But what is happening now is that you know that they are even shutting down. The South African company, they are shutting down, they are selling. What is now ruling in Lagos is the neighborhood retail stores that answer all your needs, that serve all your needs. They are not they are not as big as the malls, but they are close enough to where you live to make you not go to the malls. So that's the idea he had. But the conundrum was, do I quit this my solid paying job in oil and gas?
No, can't.
And you know, and so what ended up happening was he ended up having his cake and eating it, because his wife was working in the bank. So the agreement they had was the wife resigned her job. Using his position on his job, he was able to raise capital. You know, when you have a job when you have such a job, you're able to raise money. They'll give you staff loan because they feel you can. So that was how he raised the capital to start that business, because it was capital intensive. So he raised the money. He had the capital. He had the idea. But as a manager in that kind of company, he didn't have the time. So the agreement was his wife resigned. The wife too was rising. So it wasn't as if she was a small player in the bank. But they said, you know, let this be our plan for ourselves, our retirement, and our children. Yeah, so let us devote something. Yes. So he started that business. The wife retired. He raised the money from the bank and started that business. This business started 2018, 2019, and now it's doing very well. He still has the job. In fact, between when he started it and now, there have been 2 major downsizes in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Every time they downsize, all of his colleagues go down with major fever, because they're like, you know, in the oil and gas industry, it's a bit different, because not just your income, but your identity is tied to your job. When you ask, where do you work? I work in oil and gas. You know, it's enough, really. So for some people, it goes beyond I'm losing my job or my salary. I'm losing my identity. So that's why even for some of them, when they leave that industry, they don't really fare very well. Yes, well, because it spoils you. It spoils you, that sort of thing. So, but the good thing now is that he's not afraid of losing his job. In fact, he feels that if they fire him, they've helped him make a major decision he has been struggling with for years. Because he has been thinking, the time has come for me to leave this job, because this business requires more strategic attention. But I just cannot make that decision. So it's like if somebody fires him, they've done him a big favor. Because you just switch. Yeah. So this is an example of what partnership is. Somebody who has access to capital, he has the idea, but he didn't have the time for that kind of time-intensive business. The partner he found was his wife. Some people do it with their girlfriend or their boyfriend. Some people do it with their old schoolmates. Some people do it with their colleague at work. You can find a partner anywhere. Just somebody who is more interested in being an active participator in the business while you are passive. So the goal here is that you become a passive owner of the business, and somebody that is more active will be involved in the day-to-day. That's another way to buy time. That person contributes their time, and then you contribute your idea and your capital. So that's the second way you can solve the problem of I don't have time. The third way you can solve the problem is scheduling. Now, the interesting thing about scheduling is that in a place like Lagos, most people have just one job. But you know, the thing that's not often said about the Japa thing is that if you're in the US, you're unlikely to just have one job. You will likely have a job in the daytime, and you have another job in the evening. Many of my friends that are now there, that's life for them. You go to work in the morning, and then as you are coming into the house, your wife is leaving to her second job. You just want to quickly have your bath, see your children, and within 1 hour, you're off to your next job. That's like, in Lagos here, we are just used to have only one job. You're unlikely, if you're going to meet up with your bills abroad, you will likely have a couple of jobs.
Nigeria is getting to that level now.
Yeah, of course.
Jobs are not available.
Yeah, jobs are not available. But the good thing there is that if you're going to have a business or build a business on the side, why wait for that trend to catch up with you when you can just do what is already... So what some people do is you start a business that allows you to either focus on your full-time job in the daytime, then in the evening, when you finish your job from like 4 or so, you focus on the business. Now, not every business will fit into this, but it's possible. It's a formula that I've seen working for different people. By 4 o'clock, they've entered their entrepreneur mode, and they work between, say, 4 to 9. That 4 to 9, they are handling maybe inquiries, emails, they are responding to customers, they are doing the customers' work, all those things. So you will find that all that time you used to spend on frivolous things, you can now apply it to that thing you are purposeful and passionate about, which is that business you want to build. So that's one way to schedule it. Some people do daytime I work, evening time I do my business. Some people do weekdays, Monday to Friday, I do my work. Weekend is for my business. Saturday and Sunday, they go full time into their business. So there are ways you can schedule these sorts of things so that you are able to have the best of both worlds. That's the third way you can overcome the problem. The fourth option is third party. Now, something is going on where there are businesses that are showing up that are helping to take load off you as the owner of the business. One example will be fulfillment. There are businesses where it's either they sell for you, they just send customers your way, and then you serve those customers, or you sell and they deliver. So you can imagine somebody who sells on a platform like all these e-commerce sites.
Yeah.
When you buy there, it is the e-commerce site that sends to the customer, they fulfill for the customer.
They'll handle the logistics.
They will handle the logistics. So what that means is that operations that would have taken you a lot of time, you've outsourced it to a third party. So that is one way you can create a business that doesn't take up as much time as it should. So you create the product, you make it available to the third party. The third party handles either sales and fulfillment. So that is it for third party. Another option is automation. Before I go into automation, let me recap the first 4 I've talked about.
Yeah.
I talked about focus. It's very likely you're chasing too many things. If you streamline and prioritize some things, you will find time. The second thing I talked about is partnership. Sometimes you have the idea, you want to start the business, but you don't have time. Either because you're engaged in another business or you're fully engaged in your job. You can find somebody that can contribute to that time. The third thing I said was comfortable person. A comfortable person will not start a business, except you're either tormented by the idea or tormented by your problems. Problems like, this job is not paying me well. I don't have enough money to pay my bills. I'm living below my potential. I have to do something about. You have to be uncomfortable to start a business. If you're comfortable, nobody can help you. It's like motivation will not come from outside. Motivation never comes from outside. Have you ever wondered why you attend one of these seminars or events and then you stand up and you are fired up? By the time they tell you all those things, you're fired up. By the time you leave that event and get to your house, you'll now be wondering, what happened? What happened? I was feeling somehow just some hours ago. Why am I not feeling it anymore? Motivation can never come from outside. They can either come from the desire that you have for something more, or they can come from your problems that are tormenting you. Somebody that has problems will not be comfortable. They will have energy after their job because they want to get rid of that problem. How can I be working for this company for so long? I'm not able to pay my bill. I have to find a solution to this problem. There has to be something. It has to get to a point where you're like, I can't take this anymore. Something has to change. When you are angry, there's energy. When you are inspired, there's energy. You have to feel something. If you're not feeling anything, nobody can help you. If you're just I've just finished my job, I've just come back, I need to rest. I like the idea, but I'm not willing to do anything. I wish you all the best. Nobody can help you. When you are ready, we will know. Because when you are ready, energy shows up. Have you noticed that hungry people have energy? And it doesn't make sense. How can you be hungry and you have energy? How can you be angry and you have... Because it's a human reaction. When you're uncomfortable, your body reacts and finds energy.
So how do you make yourself, how do you induce that state of continuous hunger?
Okay, so
maybe something life happened to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And now, how do you not induce that hunger?
So if I use the example of my friend, that started a business despite having a solid job in the oil and gas industry, for such a person, it was more of fear of the unknown. This thing may not continue forever.
Yes.
I'm standing on only one leg. If anything happens to this job, my quality of life and a lot of things will suffer. So what do I do? That's how his own started. And then he got into, that was how he even found out I'd already done research about, he started in cosmetics. He started doing the research, all those things. So he started from a point of discomfort. Yes, things are good for me now. But what if? That's how his own started. For some people, it might be that you thought you were secure in the job, and all of a sudden, one day they fire you from that job. All of a sudden, you that used to have, you were a manager with the identity and you are nothing. So that unsettles you, and all of a sudden, you have to do something about it. So there has to be something that will trigger that hunger to want to do more. Because if you are comfortable, I can guarantee you can convince me in 20 ways how it's not possible for you to go to a job 9 to 5 and still run a business in the evening. You'll be like, are you okay? That's what you tell me. You mean Lagos, where I'll be 2 hours in traffic to get to work, then to come back another 2 to 3 hours, and you're telling me I can squeeze? See, when you are uncomfortable, that's when things start to happen. You'll find time. You definitely find time. So all these emotions arouse. You will notice that when humans have deep emotions like anger, like disgust, even love is part of it. You see somebody who is in love doing things that normally you say, I don't have time. But because there's now somebody that is the object of your admiration, you now manufacture time and things start to happen. So essentially, that's what it is. This conversation today cannot help comfortable people. In fact, comfortable people never start a business. And if they start a business, they are usually the first ones to run when things happen. And in business, things will always happen. They usually they find it easiest to give up. They have a plan B and a plan C. The business is not really their concern. So even on a personal note, I don't like to work with comfortable clients. They make very, very poor clients. They will listen, they will pay, but they will not do anything. You will give them advice, they will not execute because they are not hungry. You need people that are hungry for something. Those are the best kinds of people to work with. They listen to you, they apply, they come back with feedback and say, this one work, but see the challenge I have. That's what excites me as somebody who is supporting. But when I see somebody that is just comfortable, I just say, park well first. When you are ready, we'll talk. Ready. But if you are comfortable, you can't do well in business. Yeah.
Now, we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue. Hopefully, we'll have time for a little questions from you. Keep it here.
And the remaining 3.
So we're giving you 5. Yeah. So keep it here. Do not change the dial. We'll be back after this.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos, number 42, Muritala Muhammad International Airport Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in a beautifully appointed rooms featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your everyday need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop-off from the Lagos airport.
Take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant.
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So, why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
You're listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. It's 4 minutes past 10 and it's Business Around Town on the radio. And today we are talking about activating your business idea. And we are focusing on excuses. I don't have time to start a business. I really love the idea of having my own business, making my own money, having multiple streams of income, but I don't have the time, or I'm not the type. So we're focusing on that today. We have Ijeoma Egwuatu. He's a business activator. He's giving us 5 points already.
4 so far.
Okay, 4 so far. Yeah, 4. So we're moving to number 5.
Number 5, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
so number 5 is automation. And it's interesting because we are now in the digital age. Officially, the 4th industrial revolution has started, where your time has been decoupled from your income. That's what this age is. In the agrarian age, you had to farm the land. There were only two kinds of people. You had to either own land or you had to farm land. Now, the people who were farming land, their effort was directly tied to their income. After the agricultural age, we moved into the industrial age, where machines started doing the work. Machines were more efficient than human beings. But if you were a factory worker, your effort was still tied to the work you could do, even though you could output more because the machine was doing more of the work. In the digital age, the computers are doing the work.
Yes.
But now we're even entering an era where the computers may not even need you to do the work. So a lot of jobs are going to die before 2030. Jobs ordinarily, like in my own lifetime, I saw the job of a typist die when, computers came out and things like that.
I even learned it. I know how to type.
Now, a lot of thinking jobs are going to go. So, for example, you're talking about, for example, lawyers. You need a lawyer to draft you a contract or to review a situation for you. AI can do that. You don't need a lawyer anymore. The doctors too on the chopping block. Any job that requires your brain to think, AI is better at brain work than humans. The machines in the industrial age were better at handwork. Now, the problem is that the machines have come for brain work. So anybody who is into brain work, engineers, architects, doctors, lawyers, even the nurses are more secure than the doctors. Because nursing is about care, empathy. The machines cannot do that yet. But the doctor that will say, oh, you have a headache, you have a fever, you have a this. Oh, okay, this is my diagnosis. The AI is better. So where this is coming from is when you look at scans, when you go and do an X-ray scan or a CT scan for a brain, it is the radiographer that will look at it and say, this is what's going on. But the error rate of radiographers is significantly higher than the error rate of AI. So now it's even better for AI to read your scan. It's more dependable than somebody that went to school for 5-6 years to read it. So that's the age we are going into now. Your business, your effort is now decoupled from what you earn. So that's why this digital side is an opportunity, which is such that as I'm sitting with you right now, there are people on my website. There are people that are thinking whether they will buy my product. There are people who are downloading my product as I sit down with you here right now. Unlike before, I would have had to be, engaging with those people directly. So you now have a digital age where people create products and then they put them on a storefront somewhere. People are buying and downloading those items and consuming. You are providing value, but your time is decoupled from that activity. You are doing something else. Maybe you are sleeping or you are doing something. So the digital side, automation, which is what it is such that you can create a business or even businesses where it is leaning on digital technology to serve your customers. And all you are just doing, maybe you have people who are running a business, maybe it's only once a week that they go in to check what is going on. So marketing is done by your ads, your Instagram ads, your Facebook ads. Your shop front, you go somewhere, you download, the payment processing happens, the thing is delivered to your email, and then a pre-written email goes in and tells you everything you need to do. You've recorded a video to onboard the customer. I think there's really nothing much for you to do anymore. That's a benefit of the digital age. And the biggest benefit it has is that for people that know how to use it, the excuse of I don't have time is no longer necessary because your time is decoupled from your income. That's the biggest benefit we have right now. The sixth way is employees and systems. Now, this is for people who are more experienced entrepreneurs. They've hacked it. The best way to run a company is not to sit down in your office and CEO and be giving orders and, regulating and showing people what to do. In fact, if that is what you do, it shows that you have poor skills in management because you are a micromanager. If you are not there, people will not do what they are supposed to do. So you don't have employees, you just have drones, machines that only respond to your instructions. The best businesses are run such that you have a branch in Kano, you have a branch in Asaba. They are running on their own, but you're keeping your eyes on what matters. That's the benefit of having systems. Yeah. So, for example, why is our sales this month lower than our sales this time last year? Why is our sales this month lower than our sales last month? Why are we spending more on diesel, even though our sales are not growing? The figures show, our data shows that the more we spend on diesel, it shows that we're doing more activity. It should show in sales. But this month, I noticed that we spent more on diesel, but we didn't spend more, but we didn't make more money. So you now become more of a surgical person in running your business. You are looking for gaps instead of telling people what to do. Because anything your employees do in your business will show up in the data if you have the systems to capture that data. So what good entrepreneurs do is that they set up the systems that keep track of the employees, and all they do is like they're looking at a dashboard and they're just watching for red flags. And it's based on the red flags that they now start asking questions and start digging in deep. So employees, human beings plus systems. Systems will be KPIs, like the example I just gave you, key performance indicators, things you are tracking, our revenues, our gross margin, our revenue per square meter, our revenue per employee, all those things, and then controls. Who has the ability to approve expenses? If we're going to buy diesel, who will approve? If we want to spend money, money must leave the account. Who will approve? Okay, anything below 500K, the manager will do it. Anything above 500K, they have to get, the approval has to go through me. So all you're just doing is you're doing approvals, you're doing exemptions, you're managing by exemption, but you're not looking at, you're not actively involved in the business and running everything. So this is how you see somebody, they tell you that they have 8 companies, and you're wondering, this man has 24 hours in a day, just like I do. How is it that I can't even wrap my head around starting one business, and this man or this woman runs 8 businesses, and they are doing well? That's exactly the secret. They hire capable people, and they build strong systems, and the combination of this, all they are doing is they are monitoring, not managing, and there's a big difference. When you manage, is a full-time job. When you monitor, is by exception. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's an eye-opener for many people. Managing and monitoring.
Yes.
Big difference. So are you managing your business or are you monitoring?
And for you to monitor, you have to have something to monitor. Yes. The data has to be there.
You have to have concrete staff, people that are good at what they do.
And systems to check them.
And a good system on ground.
Exactly.
The combination.
The combination will throw up data to say things are looking good. If things are looking good, all you just do is good job, good job, good job, and throw them small bonuses. Everybody's happy.
Some people have not been able to expand because they are stuck in this managerial role. They keep employing incompetent people. They don't want to build strong structure. They feel that because they are good at what they do, they can manage these incompetent people and this dilapidated structure, and then the business will still go forward.
But all you just have is a full-time job. That's what it is. It's not, you may call yourself a business owner because you are the MD,
Because of cost, you employ people that are not. You feel that because you are good, you will bring them up.
You see, what people don't realize is that incompetence is very expensive.
And you don't want to pay money for the structure. You pay a lot to put structure down. It's not cheap putting structure.
So there are parts of it that will require money, but I will not agree that it is expensive. So here is the thing: incompetence is more expensive than people imagine. You hire somebody because the person is cheap, or you can afford that person's salary. That person comes in and does 2 things: causes damage, which is money to you, then causes you to even manage the person. It's like you bought yourself a job. When it was only you were managing the business. Now that you've hired somebody that is incompetent, you now have an extra, you are now a babysitter. You have to babysit that person. So it's more expensive for you. You're even better off not hiring the person.
No, you say I want to train talent. I want to train them.
So, there are stages for that in business. There are times in business where you hire for potential. You see this person has just finished NYSC. They don't have any job experience, but they have the fire, they have the energy. I see potential. There's a place for that in business. Where that person may not have the technical expertise, but the person has the raw potential that you can work with. Then there's a part where you hire for results. You are getting somebody that has done it before. If they cannot give you results within 2-3 months, you fire them and find another person. You are hiring for results. If you don't have a combination of these things in your business, you are going to struggle. For example, if you hire only people that have potential in your business, what it means is that you have to be around to keep training them and keep coaching them and until they gain that experience that's required. If you have only people that are experienced, their nature is they are mercenaries. They only respond to the highest bidder. So while they are with you and they get a better job offer, they will leave you and go. And that will create a gap and you're handicapped. But if you have somebody that is experienced and you match them with somebody with potential, that person with potential will be learning from the experienced person. And when the experienced person leaves, even though the person with potential is not exactly ready, they can do maybe 50% of that person's job while the business recovers. So what I've just told you now is not expensive. It's just about being a systems thinker. People are not thinking in terms of systems. They're just thinking in terms of it will cost me money. And you end up spending money that will dig a bigger hole in your pocket. So I think that's exactly what it is. Employees hiring the right people and backing it up with the right systems. Because if hiring good people is not enough, when you hire good people, a time will come, if you don't have systems that will show you what is going on, you will end up...
They might even outsmart you.
They might outsmart you or they might start leaving you. And you'll be like, I thought we were doing everything correctly. But if you were watching the numbers, before they left you 6 months ago, if you were watching the numbers, you would have seen the sign that this person's performance has dropped. So it's now time to have a feedback meeting. You have a meeting with that, what's going on? When you started this job, this was what you said, well, and then the person will now tell you, these are the challenges I'm having. That my colleague, you see, I'm covering up for this person. So that will show you 6 months in advance. But then it's when that person leaves you all of a sudden, what's going on? But you never complained, you never told me anything. You didn't have systems. And one type of system, when you talk about systems, people think CCTV, accounting systems. No. Culture is the culture of your company is one of the biggest systems you can have. Culture is the thing that watches your people when you're not there. That's what culture is. Culture is what happens when somebody comes into the company. Or guy is not around, but one of your colleagues will be telling you, that thing, we don't do it here. It's not accepted here. That person is not an owner of the company. The person is an employee, but the person is saying, we don't do that here. We don't accept. That's when you know you have culture. Culture is when your people can watch themselves and your business is running. Even though you travel to the village for like 2 months, nobody has seen you, but things are running. So that's what a system is, combining with employees, and it will save you time. Yeah, and make you more money.
You dealt with 5. Let's open the phone lines now.
Okay.
We have to take some questions.
Okay.
We have about 14 minutes before we round up. 0700, no, up to 14 minutes. No, maybe 9 minutes.
Okay.
0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Or you could send in a WhatsApp message to us right now. If you have a question, please send your message now to 0700 903 903 9. If you have questions concerning your business, this is a strategy session, business growth strategy. So if you're running a business, you're having maybe some bottlenecks, issues, now is the time.
Or you want to start a business and you're saying, yes, I don't have time. Yes.
People pay for this kind of consultation. Hello, good morning.
My guest, my noble motivational speaker, I greet you.
I'm not a motivational speaker, I'm a strategist.
Okay.
What's your name and location?
My name is Gabriel. I'm calling from Gorgada. I wouldn't have called because any program Mary nice and precious is anchoring. I don't call on it because I am sorry to say this. They're kind of I wouldn't use that word. That word.
You are taking time. What's your question? You're taking time.
Yeah.
You're taking time.
So don't worry. If my time is up, you cut it.
Okay.
So they shade the satanic government that are tormenting people.
Thank you very much. You see, this is not what we're talking about. We'll ask questions
can we be
concerning...
on topic? This is also part of time management. Let's focus. Let's focus on what the topic
now,
is.
let me take the questions here. This one says, good morning to you. VOP is the best station so far in Nigeria. You guys keep it up. Okay, I enjoy your program. God bless you. Okay, this is Chika from Ayobo. Another question here says, good morning to you, sir. God bless this your guest that you have here. My wife is the issue because she does not want to start a business. I'm ready to give her money to start a business. She says she wants to, today she will tell me she wants to go into food business. Tomorrow she will tell me she wants to go into provision business. I told her to do a plan for me. She did a plan for a boutique, then a boutique business. I'm ready to give her $1 million to start with. But my fear is she is not hungry. She is not focused, because when you explain hunger, I understood that she's not hungry. She's comfortable. Now, how can I make my wife less uncomfortable so that she'll begin to understand why I want her to do the business, why I'm focused at my job? That's the question. But hold on, let's take this call. Okay. Hello, good morning. Okay, the call dropped. Go ahead.
Do we have another one? Let's take in. Okay. Maybe we might not have a lot.
I'm hoping to take a call. The phone. I want to take a call, but let me add this question to it. But let me take one call. Hello. Turn down the volume on your radio set. Hello. Oh, okay. The call dropped. I don't know. This one says, good morning to you, Mary, and I'm listening to this program, and I have come to see that it's truly, I'm not serious, because I work, I close by 4. Every day I get home. I know that I should be doing something else, but somehow I've put my money into some investment. It's not working. I've tried some business by the side, but I feel I'm the cause of the problem. I'm not so serious. And after listening to this program now, I think I will take my business seriously. Thank you, guest. Okay. Thank you for your message, Oluchi. Another one here says, hello, good morning to you, sir. My problem is this. I started a business 2 years ago of a barbing salon. I do haircuts. I put people there. Someone works with me there. I know how to cut, but I don't have time because I work in the bank. So there's a young man I've put in the shop, but I've been changing them from time to time. The business seems to not grow. I'm almost tempted to close the business, but I have plans for it. I don't know where I'm missing it. This is Mr. Franklin.
Okay, so we have 3 questions now.
Yes.
We can go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So let me start from this recent one, the man with the barber shop.
Yes.
Although I'll need more information, but I think I have an inkling what may be going on. I don't know what the remuneration model is for the barbers, but if you keep barbers on a fixed salary, for people at that level, it doesn't really pay them that much. They are the ones who tell you that every day they want to have money in their hands to go home. So this is an assumption because you've not given me that information. But if you can structure it such that they get something, they get a cut for every for every customer they attend to, they can now see the direct connection between doing more work and getting more pay. So right now, if at the end of the day you pay them something, at the end of the month you pay them something, there's no incentive to put in my extra. I can just come and tell you a couple of excuses. I'm not feeling fine. You still pay me because you want to keep me. But if I tell you, I'm not paying anything. I've set up this space. You earn from what you do. So for every hair you do, maybe you get 30% or 40%. I can now tie. There's now a relationship between effort and results. That's what you need to do. So that way you can even get more people, and you may not even need one person, because if you start this model, you will see that other young people want to come and play parts. So you might have four seats where you're attending to customers. People come in, they get a call, and make sure you pay them every day. So for that day, if somebody has cut 10 people's hair and their own cut is 4,000, pay them that 4,000 that day. That daily pay will make them committed to keep coming back. Let's go to the first one.
Yes, the
man who says that the wife is.
Yes, the wife is the
So my advice to you is this: when people are not hungry, when people are comfortable, the only way you can make progress happen is to introduce some level of challenge, which will introduce some discomfort that will make that person aspire for more. So if Madam says she wants to do boutique, or she wants to do hair business, or she wants to do provision, tell her that a condition for giving her that 1 million or 2 million. In fact, if she asks for 1 million, tell her you want to give her 2.5. Right? Yeah. And then, but tell her the condition is that she has to go and learn this properly, because you don't want to waste this money. She has to go and understudy somebody, either as an intern, or go to, if it's fashion or boutique she wants to do, let her go to a fashion school or something that you pay for it. What you want is for her to go through that disciplined process of regimented learning. She goes to somewhere every morning to learn for 6 months.
What about if he has done it before? He told the woman to go and learn tailoring, and then she goes there. Today she say, I'm not going, I'm not feeling well.
What I'm assuming,
the next day is...
So the good thing is that if you say you go for the tailoring, you don't want to go again, you now want to do food business, you go to food school or go and understudy. But the condition is that you must go somewhere to an establishment that looks like that thing you want to do. See, the reason why, and I understand where Madam is coming from. When you've gotten so used to staying at home, it's a level of comfort that you need to disrupt it by, for example, you are going out every morning. You are going to that place, even though you are just going to learn. By the time you get to 3 months, 6 months, your habits have changed. That habit of just sitting at home and watching TV is now a habit of, what will I wear tomorrow? You know, I'm now going out to work and things like that. So if she goes through that process and she becomes certified, as in she completes the process, the person that is running it says, she has done very well. She's now graduated. That person, you can trust that person to run a business, because 2 things will happen. Apart from the learning that she's getting from that place, she has met other people, likely like her, other women that are doing bigger things. So she will be seeing herself like, but this woman that is doing this thing, I'm even more educated than she is. I can do better than this. It will challenge her. Right now, she's in a bubble. There's no comparison. She cannot compare herself to anybody or anything. Put her in a situation where she can be with her peers and see what other people are doing, and see that the world is actually bigger than the flat where she's living, that people are doing things. Then at that point, you can get her, because there are 2 ways you can make yourself uncomfortable. You can introduce pain, which is a discomfort, or you can introduce desire, as in not being comfortable with where you are, knowing that you can be better. You can be on the next level, but you're at this level. If you introduce either of those 2 things, your comfort will go away. Right? So either pain or hunger. Pain or hunger. Hunger for something more. Like my guy who is in oil and gas, he could have easily said, I'm made for life, but then he wanted something more. Or then something dramatic happens to you. So I don't think this is something that they need to fuss about. Whatever it is that she wants, double the amount of money she's asking you, and then put a condition. And that condition is you have to go through something that would give you discipline. Yeah.
Thank you so much, John Paul. Our time is up. Thank you very much. It's been really lovely speaking with you.
Thank you.
Some of the questions are just coming in, the calls are coming in, but we have to stop here. But next week, Thursday, we'll be here again. I will continue our discussion from where we stop. Now, we have a business strategy channel that you can go to get materials, because all of what we're talking about, there are materials for it. So what you can do to join this channel is simply...
WhatsApp channel.
It's a WhatsApp channel. Yes, a WhatsApp for business strategy, and get all the materials we're talking about here. Is come to this number 08022493182, 08022493182. So send me a message on this number. I will send you a link so you can join the WhatsApp channel, and then I will send you the details, all what we've discussed here now, strategies and all of that. You get those materials for free. So just send a message, WhatsApp or text to 08022493182. Thank you so much.
Mary, in 10 seconds, just to add to what you said. This conversation that we're having every Thursday, some people listen some Thursdays, they don't listen other Thursdays. But because of this WhatsApp channel, you can follow up. You can always be updated. Any day John Paul comes to the studio, you will be able to follow up with whatever it is we've discussed. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, John Paul. Our time here is up. We need to go now. Keep it here. This is the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM.